And just like that, we're back again.
Yay! Wawa Nui and welcome.
Wawa, everyone.
The
Thanks for
third
coming.
episode of the
Yes.
Blackbird Oracle.
I know.
Exciting.
Goodness. Hi, Maninako. Mahupaku. I don't remember your Huna, but Mermaid Black Dragon from Florida.
And Huna Kawamanatau from Cornwall. Hi, Felicity.
Now we have Marari. I got to chat with her in her birth chart session the other day.
Oh, beautiful.
So much fun. Michael, have not seen your name in a while. Welcome back.
And yes, what a time to be alive, indeed.
And then we got Katie Kaharima. Yes. Hi, Kaharima. I swear I could talk sometimes. All right.
Yeah, I had the same situation when I did a reading. Was it last week? I think it was on the winter solstice. I did a live on my Instagram channel, and I did a reading for the next 3 months. And it was exactly that feeling of, yes, believe me, people, I can talk normal. It's like, it was such a weird feeling.
Yeah, it's been like that for a good bit of the month for me too. Just I don't want to talk.
Yeah. It's like, and even if you want to like articulate a specific thing, or you want to bring out a sentence, sometimes it's just really hard to get it out smooth. It's like, just, what am I even, how am I actually gonna make this sentence so that it's actually saying what I want to say?
Yeah. Or you feel it in the jaw, like, no, the jaw does not want to move to make sounds. Just shut up. So welcome back, everybody. Really quick housekeeping as usual. We will bring people on for comment sharing a little bit later after we go do the readings. And please focus on the topic. Sometimes people like to chat about a lot of things. We're asking that you focus on the conversation, and please don't spam comments. Don't go in there and just keep sending a bunch of stuff, because you'll get put in timeout, and I don't want to do that because I love you. How has your December been, Kahasahi?
It actually has been quite smooth. From my personal experience, I can definitely confirm that the energies of the geometries really kept up what they've promised, particularly when the energy of the dragon ride entered. I could really feel that in my body. And it was really interesting because on that day, I just had the urge to just, put in some earplugs and just dance around in my apartment. And that sometimes happens, but it didn't happen for quite a while. And all of a sudden in that morning, I had the urge. And then after, I don't know, dancing around for an hour or so, the thought came to my mind, like, what day is today? What geometry is today? And then I looked it up and I was like, okay, this is hitting right on the return, and actually confirming the work of that geometry, and also what came up in our reading, or in the card reading last month, for this month that we just experienced, that it was about the energy of the dancing. And on that particular day, I could really witness the dragon ride energies and multiple facets in my day-to-day life. And so that was quite incredible. And also the synchronicities with the geometries of the mother of all changes was really big for me. Just a quick sharing on that. I have a toko, a talking staff, which I always call my tiny bird. It's a staff with a bird's head. And this one was traveling to Vancouver for the Burning Mask event in a package. And it arrived, but it didn't arrive on time. And it never really revealed itself there, because the journey of the whole thing took way longer than we thought. So I already sent it away like weeks ahead, and it only arrived this month. And Burning Mask was already in September, wasn't that? September?
Yeah, and it was the Gregorian 9th month when you
Yeah.
shipped that out on the 9th day, right?
Yeah.
What
I
day
shipped
did you
it
receive that back?
on the 12th of December, which is in the Gregorian, the 12/12. So it was really interesting, the synchronicities, and it was right there in the midst of the mother of all changes, Geometries. And the interesting thing is that I traveled out to Vancouver already in September with a specific coding, like with specific numbers that were just all over my travel schedule. And I remember that Mauta said, "Oh yeah, you're bringing big change." And there was even that he said, "Oh, are you bringing the mother of all changes?" And so for me, it was like, for some reason, this whole thing is connected with this. And for some of you that maybe even have a toko toko themselves, it's like a staff that's almost an energetic extension of yourself, but it's not really you, but it is an aspect, let's say. So it was really interesting to just see my staff doing its own stuff for 3 months, and then she came back home finally, and I was so very happy.
How many days was that? 94?
It was 94. Yeah, 94 days, which adds up to 13, which then it's another very interesting topic of conversation, because both in the month of September and in the month of December, close to the time of where my toko toko stuff left and returned, the next Friday after that was a Friday the 13th.
Yes.
Which is, of course, connected to big mother energy, feminine essence in general. The omnipresence, the 12 around the 1. So the 13 is a very sacred number. So all of that was, surrounding this whole energy of the mother of all changes in my experience. Yeah.
You know what was really funny, and this always cracks me up, where we have so many people in the community, but not everybody is in like the WhatsApp group talking with each other. There's just separate groups of people having separate conversations, but it's about the same thing. I saw Kahioku. I think, was it that night when you got your toko toko back?
Mm-hmm.
And she's sharing a conversation that she had with yet another Huna, and they started talking about Andromeda and Mary Magdalene. And for whatever reason, Kahioku had the urge to say something about the last crack in Dendara. And that was what prompted the whole conversation about Mary Magdalene, because of the energies of that place.
Yeah, the Andromeda Mededenua Denua Mana, also around that time when you actually told me about that as well, came in for me as well very strongly. So that energy of Andromeda was very present, which of course makes a lot of sense, considering that our galaxy and the Andromeda galaxy are actually currently merging, and they are becoming one, which is of course macro reflection of what's going on inside of our consciousness as well. The returning of the matriarchal principle, which is represented by Mededenua Denua Mana, the spiral galaxy, and the patriarch principle that was at the forefront here on planet Earth for the last centuries. And so these coming together, it's almost like a bigger reflection of what's going on. So for me, feeling that was no coincidence, considering the reading that we had, and also that Jupiter, which in the Lemurian understanding is called Pa, which means as much as, the representation of home. And in our Lemurian understanding, Pa is sky mother. So Jupiter, the biggest planet that's closest to Earth, not closest, but close to Earth, is Sky Mother. And Jupiter could be seen with the bare eyes on the night skies during December. So,
and this brings us into something that I wanted to share. It was a continuation of the story of Umatere Hato, or who most people know this one. Well, maybe not a lot of people know about Saint Expedite, but for the last 2 episodes, I think I've been talking about him, or at least I talked about him last month.
yeah.
So this has to do with Jupiter, which also was another conversation that I had with Kahioku. She's versed in aspects of astrology where I'm not versed. So we work very well together in that regard. And we're looking at the placement of Jupiter. And this was after you texted me talking about the closeness of Jupiter to Earth right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we're looking at the placements in the chart with what happened at the end of October. So, brief summary, there was a text that Takuhara had gotten at 8:38 at night that he got $500. Free and clear. Just a gift. A koha, right? That was the last Sunday of October. And then we have our second episode. I share that story. Go off about my evening. He goes out to drive. And I place a sports bet for 9 cents. I didn't build the sports bet. I just copied it from somebody else. It's considered a lotto. There's 25 different things that have to hit in order for you to win the money, or you lose it all if somebody misses by 1 point. And I got $32 because it hit. So I go to take a screenshot to send it to him. And the last 3 digits of ticket, thank you, done, was 838.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Last Sunday of the month, there's the 838 again. There is a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Very intriguing. So now, of course, I have the question of what's going to happen today, because last Sunday of the month, and here we are doing a show.
Well,
yeah,
maybe you're receiving a message soon.
Yes, so I would be excited to report on whatever it is that happens, even if it's not seemingly eventful, because it's always
also interesting, those
fun.
numbers, eh? The 838.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, gotta observe that one. It's very
because there's the infinite with the Trinity in the middle.
Yeah, and if you add them together, numerology in the numerology, it's adding up to
19.
Yeah, which then again is a 2.
No, that would be 1, because 1 plus 9 is 10.
That's true. The 10.
Yes.
So 1.
Yeah. Really. Okay. Yeah, the 838 was coming up for Kahiwaha as well. I actually going through my text messages with her and was reminded of that code coming up for her. Yeah, really crazy stuff going on, man. Gotta be a coincidence.
And other stuff that's been going on the planet in general this month, where several volcanoes erupted.
Yes. So to kind of segue into that, we might ask one of our Canadian Hunas to give us a little story context in the comments about what's happening in Canada politically. Because I know there was, I don't remember what her role is, but there was some woman who resigned earlier this month, mad about the financial, like how they're handling their finances. I think she was mad that they're on a multiple month tax holiday. And please, guys in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong in saying that it's tax-free on goods. Like you go buy something and you don't pay taxes on it. It's some kind of tax holiday, which they've never done as a country. But that's what they're doing now. So I think she got mad about it. That now they don't have.
Get mad about it?
I'm not sure. I just know that she resigned. There was a lot of, and she's based in Toronto. which I think is where the capital is for the country. And this is part of my reading in the download for next month, looking at what is being said by certain people. And everybody feels how they feel about certain people. People feel a certain way about Trump, which is fine. It's very interesting, the comments that he's making about Canada, which I learned today. He started calling Canada a 51st country in 2016, but it's coming up again as far as I can tell. And he's saying if Canada becomes a 51st state, you get tax cuts and everything immediately. And then he starts talking about Greenland. So even before he gets to Greenland, he's talking about Canada. There's a bunch of us that go, oh, well, Canada's part of Turtle Island. So yeah, of course we want Canada to be part of America. Canada's awesome. But then the comment about Greenland comes in. Make Greenland a part of America for security purposes, right? But Greenland is also part of Turtle Island. So very intriguing, these comments being made at this time. To me, it's tracking with the sense that I've been getting that there is something very big going on in this part of the world. That maybe in the modern sense, Turtle Island is finally getting reunited and going to be recognized as one big nation, because that's originally what it was. And the idea that, I was getting a little emotional thinking about this yesterday, about the impact that this can have. People from Canada and Greenland have to travel international to go to Hawaii, which is our ancestral home. Doesn't matter where you are from on the planet right now, that's your ancestral home. And if you're from, especially if you're from Turtle Island, like that's part of your people's land. To be able to travel domestic, you don't have to go through all the international stuff to get into America. You're just traveling domestic to get home. There's something to that. Yeah.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see where all of this progresses.
Yeah. Now to bring us back to the volcano comet, it was within that 24-hour time frame of the Greenland comet that Kilauea erupted, which is on Big Island. The last time she erupted was during our Dragon Masters graduation intensive back in June. So
Yeah, wow. And I know that there was another volcano in South Japan that erupted as well. And didn't we also took notice of something that was connected to the 48 rings that you mentioned for the gift?
Yeah, but that video was from April, but maybe there is something to that we're finally getting the memo.
I don't know, but I still, even before I sent this video, that was Tamaki, she was referring to a video that I sent her on social media several weeks ago. But even if that exact video was not happening at that time, still the activity in the rings of the ring of fire was obvious. I also remember that you already sent me a message before I sent that video to you. And so there was a lot of activity there. So maybe this was where the request for that specific gift came from. Maybe it was connected with that. Yeah. So yeah, just very interesting, curious stuff. Just in terms of synchronicities, I can say that this month was really beautiful.
Much smoother than last month. Also for me, like the energy is not it's much calmer. Not intense.
No. I mean, there are moments where it can be intense, but still it feels very smooth. and it doesn't feel at all like November felt like. It's like so interesting to observe how different the energies were this year around. I don't know if I've ever noticed it that much before, or if it's always like that, but this time it was really like obvious, at least for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anything more to add in terms of
yeah, before we get
review?
into our leap into January reading, the last bit, this has to do with the portal of the enter, where we receive the gift. And in that reading, it was brought up that yes, it does have to do with the financial. Well, what is that going to look like? We won't know until we get there. Let it be a surprise. And the evening of the 18th, I had come across something called unicorn fart dust. It's a cryptocurrency. It's a meme coin. So in this space of cryptocurrency, there's the cryptocurrencies that have utility, and there's a purpose to it, and there is money that can be made with those. But then there's the other ones where they're just funny. They got really funny names, and they shoot off, and people can make a lot of money. And there was this gentleman who was very into gold and silver, and he didn't think there was anything to it. So he's like, I'm just going to make this coin called unicorn fart dust. And, he didn't think anything would happen from it. I get the video. I'm watching it like, oh my God, this is really going to go through the stratosphere. And it did quickly. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, well, what's the message from this? Because of the timing, because it was the 18th. I think he made the coin. It was the 17th in America, which is the 18th in New Zealand. So we're still in that space. And I had a good ponder about it. And I think there was at least two things that I realized. One was, we're redefining prosperity and what that means. And making money is an important thing for a lot of people. How do we make money, right? We don't make money by going and putting money into a savings account in a regular bank, because you get jack shit from it. Even though meme coins don't really have utility like the other cryptocurrencies, there's still opportunity there if you know what you're doing. And the value is in the community. That's the really big thing. That's like the ones that really shoot off and they keep going. They have a strong community backing. That's where the utility is, where everybody is just helping each other fill their bags. And the other thing was the animal aspect of this. Because there was I don't remember who it was, but somebody made the prediction that there were 2 animal-based coins that would skyrocket.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to pause the video, because then it got me thinking about the kawa. Not so much about the motu, but the kawa. So maybe the kawa are at play here. Yeah. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, it looks like, I mean, also in the way that you've been telling me in our conversations about that whole thing about the cryptocurrencies and all of that, it's just, it feels like, yeah, there's energy entering where, the redefining of prosperity is really taking place, and how to look at it, and how to handle it, even how to work with it. And at least I've been growing up with this notion of, oh, I'm gonna have my piggy bank, and I'm just gonna save my money. I'm just gonna leave it there, sitting there for whenever I may need it. But now it feels like, oh, we're just bringing everything more into flow. So everything is just more flowing, there's just more emotion, more available all the time.
And
Yeah.
I see the prominence of the Tuatara medicine, because when I do these charts, I do the birth charts and I do the planetary charts. The one who shows up so often as a big energy is the Tuatara. And when I speak to the Tuatara, especially in the birth chart sessions, this is good guy double agent shenanigans. The house of the cheeky ones, because, I mean, it is a smiling gecko, and there is the trickster jackal and the very, very funny goat. Very determined, hilarious creature. And this is also what I call the jack of all trades. This is the space of, okay, there's all these different things that are available for us to use to make a difference. And in our own ways, we're figuring out how to pull all of those together to do something. And we really need that ability to do that, to create the bridge and to shapeshift.
Yeah, and also what I also think is very intriguing, you've been telling that this guy, this man who created this coin, was like,
Ron.
whatever, I'm just gonna follow unicorn fart dust. So he
Yes,
was
and
not
he's
even taking it or himself or the whole thing too
seriously.
serious.
No, he wasn't. And he's all about it. He's been going live many, many times. Yes, he's still into the gold and the silver, but he's also recognized that he has a lot of responsibility with this because it blew up and a lot of people made money and there's a potential of more money coming. And that's the mark of a strong community. You're just looking at how everything has panned out with him and this particular meme coin. Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, it definitely makes me curious in terms of what is that exactly? What is the function and how does it work? Like, I'm like sitting here like, I don't have a clue. So this is also the invitation that's coming in, like, educate yourself, gain some knowledge about what's out there, what opportunities are out there. And yeah, it's just interesting because I know that I already had conversations in terms of crypto and all of that the month before. And it really feels like, yeah, we got to sit down, we got to educate ourselves, we got to stay on track, we got to stay with the things, with the developments, let's say, to really, see what is available there. There was one question here, and I'm just curious because I don't really know what it is about, but I wanted to ask you this. Bula Vinaka. I don't know which is that the question about the whole thing in the Vatican, or
Yes, that was something that the Pope did, and I'd come across it, but I didn't look too much into it.
Yeah, I also came across it. I was not really digging deep there as well. For me, it was like, yeah, whatever. Let him do what he does. It's like, it's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
But okay. I was just, because I didn't know about the whole, I just wanted to make sure if I'm getting that right. But yeah, in terms of what we think about that, I think it makes things quite obvious. I think it's just revealing what this whole thing is really about, and that, especially Christmas is not really about Christ. Probably it's like a different timing.
And it's not about consuming either.
Sorry?
It's not about consuming either, because there's overconsumption.
Yeah.
And if we look at it on the Lemurian side, there's a purging happening.
Yeah.
So it's in that distortion, it's kind of the opposite of what it's supposed to be.
It's almost like, if you look at it, sorry that I'm bringing this up, but it almost feels like energetic bulimic thing that's happening. Like everyone's like eating, and at the same time, you got to purge it all out. You know, it almost feels like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It's really weird, you know, in terms of it's always kind of like the opposite of what it supposedly is, or what we've learned, or what we've been taught. And I mean, the whole timing of Christmas is based on Roman traditions, so that it's in a way basically revealing that the Roman Church is still in a way Rome. You know, it's still the same agenda, it's still the same notion. And yeah, with this practice, I think it's just revealing how it's just another level of weird. You know, why would a priest do something like that? It's like, it's just revealing to people that
Mm-hmm.
are interested to listen and to learn. You know, it's just revealing like, dude, this is all not what you think it is. That's what I feel the whole purpose of all of these things popping up are. And did you just because I want to touch on it because it came across my radar quite a lot, did you do any research in terms of these whole orbs that were seen and witnessed a lot in the United States?
No, I did not. You know, I know of some of the happenings, but I didn't get into that either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
I
interesting.
haven't.
Just
I
didn't
have.
really feel like that
Yeah,
we need to,
I
you
didn't.
know.
I mean, I haven't seen any myself. There was the video map. I think you sent me. Here's all the
Yeah,
drone
I did.
sightings and
Mhm.
like what the hell's going on with
Yeah.
America in North America. Like I haven't seen anything.
Mm-mm.
Um, but this very curious narrative with that and how the media and the government has responded to that.
They've actually responded to that, right? It's
Yeah,
like,
I think so. Honestly, I don't remember what they said because it's all like it
but
seemed
in
like
a,
there was a lot of back and forth with like, are they approved? Are they not approved? Is it China again?
yeah. But still they are looking at it and they are commenting on it. They're not just not doing it. So I mean, of course, it brings up the thoughts of, okay, who is this, like what is this supposed to bring? And for me, it just feels like, yeah, whatever, it's bringing more attention to the level of weird that is happening on this planet. And I think that's a good thing, that
Yeah.
people are getting aware of the weird that is their normal.
Yes,
Supposedly.
the new weird will become the new normal. Yeah.
Yeah, but the new weird, not this weird, you know.
Hmm.
There's a weird and then there's a weird, you know. There's like, yes,
There's
there's
levels to the
stuff.
weirdness.
Yeah, there's stuff where you can feel like, okay, there's energies like kind of like not really working together, but trying to push each other out of the arena, let's say. And then
Mhm.
there's another weird where you just go with the flow, and that's also sometimes weird.
Yeah.
It's a good weird.
Yeah. So I want to say hi to the others that have joined. Mahari wa ata. Love
Yes.
you. It's good to
And
see your face.
Watawaho. Watawaho
And
from Norway.
forget. Yes. Hamanisa. Hirimata. The spicy ones have arrived. Asamatere. Miss Fiji. Yes. Bulavanaka. Bulavanaka.
And yeah,
Mahanisa.
Huna Marari, she was just commenting on the orbs and stuff with the common Project Bluebeam. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing, you know. I mean, Project Bluebeam is a whole thing that's there, potentially. It's a thing that might be unrolled, but we don't really know. What I feel with it is I'm not paying attention to it.
Susan, are you the sister of Diane Lanterman? Which Lanterman are you, Susan? Because I recognize that name. The Spielbergs. Hi from Palm Springs. Who else was in here that I missed before we get into it? Makahure. Ah, yes, the sister. Ah, it's good to see you. All right. So let's get this party started. And like the last 2 episodes, this is the first time that Kahasahi is seeing these. For those of you who aren't familiar with this is what I do every month. The numbers on here correlate to the motu. So it's much cleaner than putting the word of the motu on there. And I am not showing all of them on this view because we don't need to see all of them. Now on the download that I put together with all of the readings and everything that I did throughout the month of January, everything is on there. So you can see where everybody's sitting. There is a separate page with a key that has the number, what is the motu, and what is the English of that animal. So if you're not familiar with the language of the, we can call them names if we want to, of the motu, then you at least know what the animal is by looking at that key. So the tortoise and the hare.
If
there is one phrase to summarize this, it is the tortoise and the hare. And why do I say that? Number 8 is Hea the hare. So right now we're in the little in-between space of Maita. Once we hit the 1st of January, it is not the beginning of the year for us. It is the 8th month of the year, represented by the hare, the star constellations of the tiger and the horse. And that's number 8 in here. Now, number 10 is the Honu, aka the tortoise, my birth sign. Part of why my namesake is the quantum navigator, because Honu is the quantum navigator. And there is, throughout this whole month, we start off this is I think, don't, just pretend that that's not there. I forgot to delete that. There is a prominence of Hea and Honu energy throughout the entire month. Now, we're not in the month of March, but we have, like, look at that. Boom, right there, right at the top, leading the way. On the return, somebody who shows up on the return a lot. This is a known structure, which Huna Flash is called the Traveler. And right there at the top, leading the way with the Hea right behind him, is the Honu. And we go over here. There's Hea and the Honu. Hea and the Honu. Anybody that got last month download, we know what this one is. This is a dragon ride that showed up last month. This one is a little bit more of an intense of a dragon ride. It's the extra spicy edition. Also, extra spicy edition, but it's a little different in the structure. Still, Hea and Honu leading the way. Hea and Honu. Hea and Honu. Do, 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 do. If you get the download, you get the Maita as well. I'm not going to cover that here because doesn't really feel right to also throw that into this. The tortoise and the hare, the story of who is faster. And I think there's a joke in that. Knowing what I know through this, there is the joke of they're both fast. They're quantum fast. Hea is strong legs and strong back, very fast, like Udon, if he's going to come over and say hi to me again. Very, very fast creature. So is the horse, and also so is the tiger. Capable of leaping quite far. I think it's the biggest cat out of all the wild cats, but can leap further than you would expect because it's got very strong legs. But then the quantum navigator, the Honu, is also fast. That's the joke, I think.
Yeah, and I remember the story, and that it was about that the hare always said, I'm gonna win the race. I'm gonna be faster. But with the slow, patient determination, in the end, the turtle, I think, Wanderers. I don't remember it fully, but it was about that, there are different kinds. For me, the message was always there's different kinds of getting there fast,
Mhm.
always considering like what does fast even mean? Like, sometimes the fastest way is to slow down and to just, chill out and not get stressed out. So it's a very interesting energy that I'm receiving from the geometries overall. And it
Mhm.
almost feels like that this dancing notion kind of like continues, but more in the way of like the playfulness, being really playful with one another. And it feels very much like communal, because I can also see that the Toroa is up there with them as well, especially on the Lion's Gate. The Toroa is, oh no, that's the
It's
Tuatara.
Tuatara. Mhm.
Yeah. So it really feels like that there is, makes sense that there's the Tuatara energy as well in there. Bringing in some fun. It really feels joyful. There is a fun aspect within this coming month when I
Yeah.
look at the geometries.
So Hirimata, the Hea is the land of the Vikings. It is next to Russia, but this is more Scandinavia. So in terms of politics, I would say yes, because right now I think Greenland would be in terms of modern politics, Greenland would be Hea more so than the Honu, but it's right there. They're connected up in that area of the world.
Yeah, I mean, Iceland still belongs to the Heamotu. So the
Yes.
Heamotu is Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Northern Germany, and I think Finland, probably even.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all the Heamotu.
Yeah. And I do have on the quantumnavigator.earth, there is a page, a button called the 12 continents. It is a map that I created where you can see the motu. It is color coded for the kaha, for those who know the kaha system. But at the very least, you can see the animal, the picture of the animal for that part of the world. And you can go in there and see where the Honu reside. The Honu, well, you can see where the Honu resides, but you can see the Hea. But also, there's always an overlap of the energies where we see the border. So,
Yeah.
Hea, we could probably see it overlapping into Russia, but also overlapping down into Lithuania, down into where Marari is from the Netherlands. To me, it feels, and also just within the blood lineage of the people, the energy feels very strong in those magnetics to me.
Yeah, for example, I mean, in my understanding, I live on Heamotu, but it's not always completely obvious here in Germany, because I had this experience last June. I traveled down further to the borders of Poland, down near Berlin, and I could feel like this is not Hea anymore. This is the butterfly. And this is right where the energetic border is. And sometimes even here up in northern Germany, in Hamburg, sometimes it feels more like the butterfly, and sometimes it feels more like the Hea. So the borders are also not always like as
there's no wall.
No, there's no wall. There's no really, and for me, it almost feels like, yeah, the motus, they're energetic beings that are moving. They are in motion. So the butterfly is flapping its wings, and the Hea is stamping its feet, like his foot. So it's not always exactly, the same. So yeah, this is very interesting, but it makes a lot of sense to me that the connection between the turtle and the Hea is presenting itself so much. I mean, is funny considering that, we came up with the theme, the topic for the show, leap into January. We came up with that just like, well, let's just make it that, because we know about the knowledge and wisdom that the Heamotu shares about the quantum leaping. So having them together there is makes a lot of sense. It's just like they're showing us, yes, we're actually very close buddies, and we're working way closer together than you probably would even think.
You know, in
yeah.
England, there is a saying, mad as a March hare. So, or that I'm paraphrasing. That might not be the exact wording. But I thought that was really funny. I think it has to do just with their life cycle and what happens in that time of year. But March, really? I'm being reminded of that when I'm doing this.
Yeah, but it's true. I mean, the hares, they become young ones, and they become very strong again of course in spring, which is March for us. That's where everything starts to come back again, and the bunnies and the hares are right there with it.
So the Lion's Gate. Now, just as a reminder for everyone, these dates are New Zealand time. And I do have this noted now in the download, 11:11 a.m. these days, New Zealand time. So for Kahasihi and myself and those of us on this side of the planet, we would subtract a day. So this energy here in North America and parts of Europe, it's going to hit on the 7th. So we'll feel the energies the day before. Last year's Lions. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, I truly agree with you, but then also I have this understanding of the geometries. I mean, this is the enter point. This is the enter point, and the geometry of, let's say, the enter point of that energy hitting that day on that time code. But still, the energy travels with the light around the planet. And maybe the structure, the light structure changes, it shifts. You know, the geometry will not be exactly the same, but still this initial energy is present within the movement or within the journey of, let's say, that geometry around the whole globe. And by the completion, it may change, but still, you know, because for me, I can really say that for me, the energies, they really hit for me on the day when I was here. So I agree with you. And maybe that's interesting to observe, like maybe some geometries on some months, things is ahead of, you know, the time. And maybe with others, you feel the energy when it's coming around to you. So yeah, just wanted to comment on that.
Yeah. And you would be right in saying that it would be changing throughout the planet, because it does, like, this is based off of the geographical location of, and I apologize if I mispronounce this, Invercargill. It is the south point of the South Island of New Zealand. That is the GPS location that I use to make these. With the birth charts, it's different. I use the GPS location where somebody is born to do that. And I go do the birth geometry, and then I've already done it in the monthly stuff, or vice versa. Or like I go do somebody's birth chart, and then I go do next month's reading, and there's that geometry that I just found. So yeah, fun stuff. Last year on the Lion's Gate, that was I think the first time that I started showing these publicly with Huna Flash, because I was already doing the stuff on the back end, you know, testing it with different Hunas to try and figure out, you know, where are we going with this? And because of what I had found, I think that was really what helped to prompt me to start talking about this, because it was a door on the Lion's Gate last year.
Yeah, I do remember.
Yeah, but now it's the spice. It is the dragon ride with extra jalapenos and not ghost peppers. That's a little much, but different peppers. And yes, Udon would agree. He's up there barking at the outside neighbor kids. Flanked on either side by different aspects of the voice. So this is kaka. This is speaking the special way, sound, various types of sound replication, including what the Blackbird does. extremely intelligent speech. And then we have the tiny voice from heaven. That's the Tirani, the hummingbird, which is speaking from the dream time or the land of the ancestors, from the other realm into the physical reality. So they are flanking. And when I put these together and I'm looking at the flow of it, I don't always notice the placements at first when I put them. And I have to sit there and look at them and go, oh, okay, this is really intriguing what I just did.
Mm.
So it's not like a fully conscious decision that I make. It's very, very intuitive doing this whole process. Right here in the middle, branching out to these three is the womb. This is the wombat, the kopanui.
Mm.
And then we have He'a here in the middle, flanked by two benevolent reptiles, which there's different aspects of sight that I see with them, because Honu is a type of oracle sight. Really, both of them are. Honu is the quantum navigator, because Honu takes the information and knows how to navigate to get there. It's a far sight. But Tuatara is like that as well, because this is where Tuatara sits in the body.
Mm-hmm.
Is this other aspect of sight, of being able to see more. So they're like on either side of the He'a, helping to guide the He'a. Maybe because there's like a very quick navigation that's happening in terms of the quantum shifts with the Lion's Gate. Not any other day. This is the Lion's Gate. So we have that. We have this dragon right here. We have this one. It's a different extra spicy energy. Like this one is a little bit more compact. Got me thinking of like a manta ray almost. But this one here, it's a little bit more open. To me, it doesn't feel so inward intense.
No, it emanates more clarity to me. It feels more, it feels clearer.
Yeah. Mm. And then also just to note the placements of where they ended up sitting. So we have here in the back, we have the Tirani with the Kopanui shooting straight up through the He'a and the Honu.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then we have this time frame of the enter when we receive the gift. And we have the starting point, which is very, how do I want to English this? It's compact, not maybe so much in an intense way, but it's a little bit more compact, and then it expands out a little bit more to the 3 different days. Same structure, almost the same placements for all of them or 2. Some of them, there's a tiny little shift. And then the next day, there's another tiny little shift, but everything is very, very stable. This happens to be the day of the inauguration of America. In America. Sorry, not of America. Maybe we are inaugurating America. I don't know. But the inauguration that occurs in America is happening right here in the enter. Led by He'a, led by Honu, backed up by the Tuatara. And that stability and that energy. And this also goes into the Ma'ita, and I have more written about this in that download. The overall impression that I get, even from like all of the month, we're on the canoe and it's full speed ahead. There is land. We're about to land. We just need to make a tiny, tiny little adjustment, pull this rope here, shift the sail, turn the, can't think of a word, but turn the steering wheel as it were, or move the oars just a little bit. You just got to make a tiny, it's like you're coming in for landing on the airplane, but it's a dragon. You got to just a little bit shift, and then that way you can get there quickly. And that's the impression that I get from this.
Yeah, I also think it's very interesting to see so many geometries that have, especially in the end of the month, we have it already on the 11th with the double points, very strong. In German, there's this soccer topic where you call it Doppelspitze. It's like double arrow. It's like a strategy. You not play with one. What do you call it? With one player that's like right there hitting for the goal. No, you have two. And this is kind of like the feeling. There are two. There are two that are looking after the steering wheel. There are two captains on board, not only one. And there's a reason for it. So it is also almost like this feeling of letting go of this notion of leadership in the sense of how we perceive it to be. It's almost like an invitation to receive new leadership, but also leadership in general in a new way. Which of course has a lot to do with ourselves as well, in our Lemurian understanding. Lead, follow, lead is a unit. It's unity. It's one thing. So I feel that there is this invitation and this opportunity to learn within this month, especially about these energies. When I look at the dance and at the relation that the Hea and the Hunu share, this is what I feel from the geometries. Really cool, really beautiful, and interesting that the new leadership for America is going to be right there with this energy.
Yeah. So the summary of the month of the tortoise and the hare, it has me thinking that there are going to be major and quick quantum shifts with the ability to go quick, as the hare needs the co-pilot of the Hunu just to get that navigation locked in. And when I connected to the eternal memory, or the Wairua, they gifted me the number sequence 639. I didn't go further into it. I just, I have my pendulum that has the Kotahara in it and some of the symbols. And the Wairua will point to things on my keyboard so I can write it out. So maybe I don't clearly have the word and they got to spell it out more, or maybe I get it really quick, but still 639, the number, not even 369, which is still a variation, but 639.
Well, it gives us a feeling of sense of, for me, it's just coming to mind. It's giving me the feeling of a sense of direction, because it's not the 369. It's not like that, but it's the 639. There is like a movement within that, the English word, within that sequence. Because we always look at, 369. And if you understand those words, you understand the universe. Yes, there's truth within that for sure. And, but yeah, the 6 is at the forefront, which is also interesting, understanding that the number 6 is connected again to feminine energy, which is confirming what we've witnessed throughout this month, with the big presence of feminine archetype energy flooding in.
So the last bit, then we'll take a promo break and then get into the card reading with everybody. So this is the Wairua's words and not mine. So stick with me. Quantum shenanigans of the highest regard, full speed ahead, hold on to your butts.
That's cool.
And we're to look for movement in the financial space in this This does include crypto and meme coins. Just observe it. Of course, after what happened on the 18th with unicorn fart dust, I expect other major things to come. But at the very least, you just keep an eye out for them and see what happens. Let it be a surprise, whatever it is.
And interesting, Richard is just mentioning that 369 is a harmonic frequency as well. Maybe you can just comment there with if you know with which kaha, with which energy center this one is maybe connected. I'm not, I don't know it out of the back of my mind, but that's a very interesting connection to that number as well.
I like that name, Blockchain Butter. As I'm talking about crypto today,
yeah,
Blockchain Butter comes and joins.
Yeah, we should put butter on the blockchain so that it's forever safe.
Just make it a meme coin. I bet you somebody already did. I'll have to look that up. Butter.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me find the promo video. So we'll take a brief break to promote the Hunas and all of the wonderful koha that we have for you guys. It's about 2.5 minutes, and then we'll be back with the wonderful. Did I do it right? The wonderful Kahasihi with the card reading of the Lemurian Oracle. All right, we'll be back.
Yep.
So as you're getting that set up, I want to acknowledge Richard mentioning that he's getting his surgery on the 6th of January. He said something very interesting, and I want to expand on that. Okapi in Hea, so December, January birth signs are in the heart chakra, or what we call the Tikko Kaha. And he's in here sharing that this 639 hertz is that part of the body.
Oh, of course.
Wow.
I was actually already guessing that, but thank you so much for sharing that.
Yes, and I trust that your surgery being in the hip means you have a quick, speedy recovery. Like next day, you're all good. Maybe an hour after it's done, like, oh, it's like it never happened.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
my love.
wishing you all the best for that, Richard. And I'm sure that it will all be good. And yeah, the hair is with you.
Yes. So, my dear, it's now your turn.
Yeah.
So it looks like
Interesting.
we
Yeah.
got. Let me.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time that I've actually. Oh, today it's upside down. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
I
Do you
set
want
the
to
camera up differently.
rotate everything? Do you want me to turn the camera off?
No, that's gonna be too much of a hassle.
Okay.
We just leave it at this. I'm just
Okay.
gonna place them the other way around.
Okay.
You just have to deal with my hands coming from the top.
It's okay.
So it's the first time that I've actually pre-drawn some cards so that we already have them here, and it's really interesting to just commenting on what the feeling is that I got while I was shuffling the cards. I could really feel like energy coming into my eyes, and it's almost similar but not exactly the same as I had it with the last reading that I did, where I felt like, what the heck, where is my brain? Like literally as I was sitting down talking, I felt like, what the hell am I saying? Like I felt so. You probably mean as express that in the term of saying I felt self-conscious about myself, and I'm like, what in the hell am I doing here? So it was super weird. I've never
Like
had this before.
a hyper awareness in your consciousness about that moment.
Yeah, but just feeling like a little bit uncomfortable because my brain was just like not really focused and clear, and there was not so much clarity there. It's just interesting having a feeling coming into my eyes where I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I've pre-drawn these cards just to make things a little bit more quick. Oh, we have the Blackbird showing up. Beautiful.
Is that who I think it is? Oh.
Yeah, the Blackbird. And this one is a card that's called, it's, you could translate it into inner guidance.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a depiction of the Wairua. Oh, I've got to switch those. And this is a depiction of the silence.
Oh. Do you need to switch the Wairu and the Kaka?
Yes, I need to switch those as well.
Cool. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. So we can sense already. It's very interesting because, you know, of the energy that I had in my eye. And right now I feel that there's actually quite a lot of clarity within this month. We had this already last month. Present, I think, the seed. Or was that in my last reading? Oh, it was probably in my last reading. Sorry, mixing things up.
Ooh.
It's very interesting because we see a lot of blue colors, aren't we?
Yes, and I also see the very gosh, I can't think of the funny English words to describe the feke, somebody who is very much assisting in financial aspects in this world. He has the capability to go and be a benevolent pirate and steal things back.
And then also what I think is, oh, excuse me, that came down up from deep down. Sorry. I also think it's very interesting that we have the firefly coming up. Being a very small being, like a very tiny little thing that's capable of lighting up the darkness all by itself. It carries its own fire. It carries its own light, its own spark, literally, in terms of that it can share it, and that it can share its light with others physically. Where I feel it's in connection with the reminder. It's really reminding us about our own nature, you know, and that the firefly is in a way a reflection of our own being, and that we are allowed to receive that fully. And I think it's also really interesting to see that there's a lot of this blue turquoise energy present, which is a lot about the throat. And we already had this coming up in the geometries. And here I want to share a little bit of an understanding that came to me over the last years about these types of birds, which are connected to the kakamotu, which is the second motu, the talking bird, the parrot, where also the blackbird is within this motu, within that understanding of the intelligent talking bird. If we look into the kaha system, this bird is connected with the root. It's connected with the upper jaw of the root. So it's not at all connected with the throat, but it is, you know, because I received the understanding that this is actually where the voice of truth really comes from. And we had this already coming up, and I feel it's just very interesting because the color, the turquoise, is of course connected with this. But it was so interesting when I received this understanding of the voice of truth, I always saw this color, which is the opposite of where this chakra almost, or where this bird is actually sitting. And yeah, it's just beautiful to see that there is like this, again, this connection between two beings and two energetic points that are actually telling us, don't separate us. We are one. Receive us as one, you know, receive our leadership. You don't have to say this is okay and this is not okay. You know, you can receive from both. And this is the type of feeling that I get. And then also with the dragonfly being at the center of it, the dragonfly is a master of resetting energy. This is what they do in nature. They reset the energies of natural portals or natural places. And if you observe them in terms of how they fly around, it's really, really interesting how electric their movement actually feels like. You can really observe that they follow specific points and specific lines. And I truly feel that this is sharing to us that, maybe with the movement that the Hea and the Honu are doing, and with the dance that they have, and with the movement back and forth, and that they are resetting something within our system, within our planetary system. You know, we can look at it from that scale, or we can look at it from the personal perspective. It's still sharing somewhat of the same story. And I feel, that there is just a lot happening at once. This is also what I feel with the Feke Feke sharing. A lot is happening at once. And also the aspect that you shared about the financial system, I feel that these are working together there. So there is a development in terms of the voice of truth becoming more forefront and more visible, more heard. And it feels like that's an extended offering that is there. It feels like something that is already present. Also, this color is very much connected to Andromeda, this kind of color spectrum with the galaxy. So there is, this energy is already present. The offering already is always present, always there. And now with this, with the shift into this new motu, there is this opportunity of seeing it clearer. That's what I feel. It's like we're going to be more able to see the truth. We're going to be able to see more clearly, like, okay, this is it. This is it not? This is not for me. Like, this is it, and this it isn't. We're going to be more able to be in that. And I also feel that with this card coming up, that we are invited to really come into our like own lead, like to really connect into our own compass, like into our own golden compass, in our own sense of direction, and that we can do best by going into silence, by being more silent, by being more still, rather than constantly always moving and always getting feedbacks from I don't know how many energies around you, but being more like zoning out or zoning into yourself, let's say. We have this opportunity of resetting something, because the reset, or this energy of the dragonfly flight, is in the center of this, again, in the conjunction, where this is about the sense of leadership, leading, and this is the silence. And here it is all about the seed of love, which is again the reminder of the eternal flame that the firefly is sharing, the eternal sacred intention that is at the beginning of all creation, that eternally is burning and is part of each of one of us. We know this intention, we know this flame, and it's time for us to really, I feel, receive that, or like embrace that. It's not about receiving it. It's something that's already again there. It's already there. So it's not coming from outside of you. It's within you. But it's more about embracing this memory and allowing it to really restructure. That's what I feel. Again, I feel like I'm all over the place. If there are any questions or comments.
Something that I thought of, this being in that state of clarity. It feels extremely highly appropriate for this to be the card reading for the He Amotu, given the significance of the Okapi Motu and what we do this time of year, what we're meant to do at least. We're 7 months into the year. We have 6 months now in the eternal memory. And we have that contemplation, that state of meditation, of just sitting with, what have I accomplished this year? And what can I change? What's working and what's not, which I also see as a variation of the New Year's resolution. So this is the time to resolve what you've done, but it's not the beginning of the year. It's really kind of a halfway point of, this is the big project that you've been working on, and now you need to tweak some things, reset the foundation, and then go for the next few months and try to grow it more from there. So
yeah, in a way it is. I mean, if we look at the sacred energies, and because we are in the Ke Tapu still, in that energy of winter solstice, at least here in the south, like in New Zealand, it would be the exact opposite, the summer solstice. But this time in winter solstice, it is about remembering the light, because that's the moment where the light returns. So it's all about remembering your sacred intention. So it's really about what you said. Okay, what did I want to do again? Okay, and then it's a very interesting time, because it's not only about what did I want to finish, but it's also very much about what is it that I want to look at, because we're already looking at spring. So we are already looking at what do we want to seed into the ground. So it's not so much about finishing off things quickly so that we feel like, oh, I still saw my New Year's resolution from last year through. No, not so much. It's more about really contemplating and seeing, okay, this is where I'm at, without any judgment, without any rush, without any stress, and then contemplating on, what am I here for again? What is my sacred intention? And then looking at, okay, what do I want to create? What do I want to create with this energy that is now coming and returning again? Coming back, the spring, the gift of the new life that is going to grow. So this is what we look at in the dark moments, where we actually have this invitation from everything that's around us to go into the silence and to sit with it. So this is really showing us, yes, we just came out of the Ke-tapu, like that the longest night has just passed, and now the light is returning. So now it's really time to look at what that light is going to bring for each of one of us. Yeah. And very interesting also is the one card that showed itself first was this code, which is called Sa-Ra-I. Sa is the sacred circle. Ra is the eternal now. I means to be in. So always present in the eternal now. And I remember, because this is actually connected to my name, it was part of my seal. And I remember that Huna Flash shared, this is also being in your own lead, being in lead, being in the lead, being in the sacred circle, in the eternal now's present. This is the code that is really initiating us, or presenting itself. This energy is presenting itself to us to take that opportunity of really working with the energies, like what we've just shared about the this is the year cycle, even though the new year is not now, it's not now that we celebrate it, it's later that we celebrate it. Still in the seasons of love, this is what we are looking at right now. This is what the tapu, the sacred energies, share. Tapu means sacred. Ko, what was that again? I gotta sit with that for a moment. My brain, I tell you.
I'm gonna see if I have that written down somewhere while you do that.
Yeah, and I feel that this needs to go here in the center. The code Te means all, Maki means balance. So it's still about the balancing. I feel like I've been talking about this for I don't know how long, maybe a year. Ko means I am. Now I've got it. So this is what we are. So in a way, the memory that is coming through is, yes, we are in our own lead. We are our own leaders. So this is really what we're coming back to that energy, to connect deeper with the memory of how does it feel to be in your own lead and in your own charge, let's say. And it's sharing about our nature, that we are naturally beings of sacred balance, and that the core, that is what we are. We are sacred balance. We are sacred equilibrium. And it's time for us to really take that, when you are in the energy of being in the lead of your own presence. It also it means that you take the opportunities that you I have it right here, the phrase that you take charge, that you take charge of your own action, that you claim the opportunities that present themselves to you. And why did I just say that? I don't know. But yeah, it really feels like that this is the opportunity that is there for us to really integrate that sense and that remembrance within our body deeper. What that feels like, what that truly feels like within our being, you know. And the cards, yeah, they're sharing to us that that's our true, that's our, of course, that's our inherent nature, that's what we are. Yeah, so in the end, what I really feel with this is it's our choice, it's our decision if we're taking this offering, if we're taking this koha that's there. You know, it's like it's right there in front of us, and it's presenting itself in this beautiful way, and it's up to us, it's our choice. And that's a very beautiful thing to also realize. It is our choice that we are these things, beings of free will. Interesting. We always have this symbol showing up. We had this in each of our episodes so far.
Can you remind everybody what that symbol is?
So these are my kaha symbol cards. So they are connected to our energetic centers within our body. So this one is connected to the toi kaha, which is the sacral. And the letter U is a sound that is connected, light code that is connected with this kaha. And this symbol is as well connected with this kaha, sharing a specific aspect, let's say, a specific aspect of the frequency of that kaha. This is, for example, connected to the masculine aspect within the what do I want to say? Within the kaha. I'm so sorry. And this one is as well connected to the toi. And this is sharing a feminine aspect. And here we also have the seed. In a way, we have the seed present there. And then we have this one. I hope you can see the white, which is connected to the heart. We already had the heart coming up a lot in our conversation. And this one is connected to the sola, the tawahi. Again, a masculine aspect. So it's interesting because if I'm not mistaken, I didn't rewatch the reading from the last episode.
I didn't either.
Huh?
I didn't either. I completely forgot to go review it.
Me too. I'm like just sitting here. I'm like, damn it. But if I'm not mistaken, we had already this one present. We had this one present in each of our episodes. And we also had a lot of the heart energy present in the kaha, in terms of the kaha. And it is interesting because the journey, if we look at how the energy meanders through our kaha system, it starts off within our kaha that is connected to our sense of self, which is the sola, where it is connected to source of energy and receiving nutrition as well through the light. And this is where it starts us off. So it really feels like this is a journey where it's all focused on the self, but not in an ego way, where it's really about the question of how do you want to show up for yourself? How do you want to, again, hold yourself? We had this topic of conversation already in the first episode. But here it's really about how do you want to lead yourself? How do you want to lead your life? So this is another layer of development kind of that we've been on already. And it's then again going into the creative energies, into the sacral, where everything creation wise is happening. That's the space where creation is present. And it feels like that something's going to shoot into that space. Something's going to activate the space. And it feels like that a seed will be planted. Or with us taking the time, being still, being silent, we might truly know which pearl, which treasure, which sacred seed it is that we want to plant into the earth. And that will happen, and then it will crystallize in our heart. It will grow in our heart. It will green in our heart. That's the feeling that I have with this journey, where it's going to gift us with a different alignment, a realignment. It's almost like, with that, we can make the quantum leap into a different timeline. We can make the quantum leap into a different alignment, which is already present. That makes a lot of sense in terms of seeing that the dragonfly is so present, being like a very busy helper. And the kahuku is very present. We have two beings showing up from the kahuku flock, let's say. And makes a lot of sense that this one is so present, because if you look at this, and how straight the spine is, and then you look at this for me is always about crystallization of the full kaha system, realignment of the full kaha, and integration of, let's say, DNA, memory, all of that kind of stuff is what I associate with this card, even though the word means something different. But I can see this, and this is why the dragonflies are so present. So maybe take the dragonfly with you. If you have like a pendant or something, wear it. It really feels like this is a very sacred energy that is going to help us a lot in the navigation of this race of the Hea and the Hunu.
Something that I want to call out is the A and the U from the toy over on the geometries. I did include, I'm not going to screen share it unless we need to look at it again. Number 3 is the falcon, the fatura, which is A and U in the Kaha system. That's sitting at the bottom of a lot of those geometries. It's sitting in the 0. It is equally, now the sun's starting to come out finally. It's equally the seen and the unseen.
So it's in balance.
Being in that space, yeah. When I say 0, this comes through as there's no, when I do the reading, there's no actual zodiac placements in that space. So that 0 is a huge energy. 0 doesn't mean that it's missing. 0 is everywhere. It's it's space in between the atoms. It's everywhere, seen and unseen, and there is an abundance of that energy.
I also need to comment on this in terms of our elder Mauta, who is very much connected to the energy of the 0 point. It's his signature energy. And also considering that his seat is at Tona, which is connected to the womb. So, which is all, in the 4 cardinal directions. Tona is in the south, and it represents the physical, and it represents, the womb. It represents where we all come from. And hearing you share this, it just makes me feel like, okay, things are going to be balanced, all in balance. And it's interesting because the T, it came out like really as an exclamation mark, saying all in balance. Everything is going to be in balance. Like the all balance is entering in January, which is incredible because, as I've mentioned, like Maki has been with me ever since last spring. So ever since what was it? What is it again? The whole tapu and the spring equinox. It's just been there the whole time. I've been seeing it everywhere. And there's a whole journey with that. Also a whole memory with that. What does that actually mean? And yeah, the balance is very much connected to the 0 point, to like, this is where it zeroes out. Without balance, we cannot enter, or we cannot be in that 0 point. That's why it is so important to allow equality to take place. And we are still witnessing that unfolding. And it can really feel like a turmoil. But if you've ever been on the children's playgrounds, they have these, I don't know, these blown up half like airy bubbles that you can just be on. And if you stand on that, and on the other side somebody else is moving, everything is just moving, And this is the kind of feeling that I have had throughout this whole year, especially the Lemurian 2025. It's just been all over that. It's like all of a sudden we are up there and then we're down here, and it's like big waves. But it's beautiful to know that with this coming Motu, it seems like that we are reaching a very critical moment. Like, yeah. Beautiful. Is there anything more, like any questions, or does anything pop out to you where you feel like it's not clear or not covered?
No,
Anything?
if the Wairoa wants to share an answer to this in regards to the moment of the inauguration, which is a big moment for a lot of people for various reasons. Some people like it, some people don't. What the Wairoa wants to share through the cards, and seeing just with what we already know of the structure of those moments, that it seems to be a stability with just some tiny adjustments to get to our final destination, to then go from there.
And it's also very interesting that you're asking that, because if I remember it correctly, the inauguration happens in the enter on the 21st of January, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, if we look at this reading, I usually always start out either in Tokir or Tona, so in the north or in the south. Oftentimes I start in the north, but because that's representative of what is energetically present in the formless. And here, the journey from the formless into the form. So if we look at it weeks-wise, because I've read it the way that I've started in Tokir, this would be the process in the first week. This would be the process in the second week. This would be the third week, where right here, the card of the Wairoa is. And you've just asked, maybe the Wairoa can share about the inauguration. And it's right here in the exact alignment. I'm like, okay, this would actually probably add up with that timing, because the 21st, and then we have 7 more days, which is the fourth week. So this is right here. So very
yeah. But also seeing the cardinal placements where we have the feke sitting at the waho, which is also the entry, if we're looking at the placements of everything on that table.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many multiple ways of reading it. It always depends on where you feel. I always read it very intuitively. But when it comes to the monthly energies, I usually look at what is there present in the formless and what wants to come into the form. But as I've said, the alignments can be, and the whole reading can be read in many different ways. And I would encourage and invite everyone to maybe, look at the cards and take from it what you also get intuitively for yourself, because I can only cover so much, but I know with all of these readings, there's so much more present. So I always encourage people to really look at the cards and take away from their own symbolism and from their own way of receiving and reading the symbols and putting things together, because everyone is very different and very unique in the ways of how we draw connections and how we see energetic alignments. And that's for a good reason, because everyone is supposed to receive maybe a tad of a different message.
What you pulled just now?
I pulled the La, which is the light code for unity consciousness. Then we have the Kaka, which is of course connected to this beautiful being here, Kakamotu. But it is also the code of the Kaka is not only sharing the benevolent being, that's the Kakamotu. But if we want to use this code in a different way, we can also use that in the way of speaking to brotherhood, sisterhood. And when I draw this card, because there is this obvious connection between the talking bird and community, I always felt that it was very much about communication, the communication aspect within community, because there are many cards that actually share the same thing, brotherhood, sisterhood. What is that? Humanity. We have many codes that share the same, meaning, humanity. But this one is, for me, always sharing that aspect of how do we speak with one another? How do we communicate with one another? And I do remember that when you asked me that question in the first episode about the election, I remember that I said that there would be a different way of communicating.
Yes, you did.
And this is coming up again. And this is medicine. So there is a sharing that is going to happen where medicine enters. And I feel the medicine is very much, yes, connected to coming back to that alignment of unity consciousness, of really coming together globally. And then also a different way of speaking truth, probably, because that's been all over the monthly energies. And then we have this code, which is the Fayariko, which is a very ancient sacred aspect of healing. It means the healer with the dirty hands. Not meaning dirty and dirty, but meaning that this healer is always busy doing work for the greater good of all. So if you look at, somebody who's planting seeds, usually they always have their hands in the dirt, in the earth, doing stuff, working. And it feels like that we will witness that this aspect is going to come back into the political landscape, where you can see, they're doing actually a lot of work. Like they are really getting their hands dirty.
That also came up in that first show about getting the hands dirty and it doesn't look good, but ultimately it's for a good cause, as it were. Isn't Faya also mother? So we could say healer with the dirty hands or mother with the dirty hands.
Yeah, Fayariko is for me truly like the archetype of what lots of people call the queen. Bayariko for me is like the true code or the true way to express that which we associate with the archetype of the queen. You know, somebody who's always working, looking after many beings. Yes, her own children, but not only, you know. That's what I've always received. And yes, it is a very ancient feminine archetype, but it's not only with the feminine, it's with everyone. It's the energy of being at work, constantly at work, not, you know, complaining, just doing it because it needs to be done. Like the mother, you know, the mothers are truly always busy, always having their hands dirty with food or other things. Yeah.
Somebody snuck in to say hi.
Oh, hi.
Everybody say hi to Huda Flash. Hi, Huna. Good to see you. Thank you for being here with us.
Yeah, and I'm going to pull just another like picture card for that question about the inauguration. Where was it? This one. This is probably the most hilarious card, and it's a card that I usually don't really take serious, which is the whole topic of the whole thing.
Oh gosh,
it really
I remember that one.
It really feels like that there's gonna be a whole theater. Like we will see the whole like puppet show. It's like it always gives me this feeling of you know, it's like really this puppet show thing. And yeah. So we will see something there. So yeah, curious.
Yeah.
Be very curious to see what moment this will bring. But again, it's like almost like the same message that I feel with this that I already gave when you asked about the election and what that will bring for America. And I mean, the unification and just bringing everyone closer together again is what I feel will really start with this, even though I know that there's probably a lot of people that go don't really resonate with one another at the moment. That's just how it seems. That's just what we make of it logically, but that's not how it truly is. In a way, I feel like I need to say that. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And apart from that, I just think it's very interesting in terms of the overall energies that the month felt, or the whole reading, it felt very clear and very smooth. But in the way of how it entered into my body, it didn't feel like that at all. So maybe it's also, yeah, that we're invited to go into that silence so that we don't give in to, you know, our first perception of feeling overloaded, because this is still a lot of energy that will enter, and a lot will happen, especially with the Lionsgate. And maybe it's this whole thing of, you know, we jump to conclusions. We jump to, oh, this must be not a good thing because I'm feeling kind of weird, but it's probably a good weird. You know, we had this topic of weird already at the beginning. So there's different types of weird.
Yeah.
And we're really reacquainting ourselves with what weird we are, you know. What type of weird am I?
We are the comic weird. That's the really funny cat with the party hat.
Like always when I pick this card, I'm like, I can't really take it serious, but it's just, that's the whole point of it.
We have a question. I don't know if Hidemato wants to come on and say hi. What we can do is share the link for you guys to come on screen and join us. If there is a short story, a happening that you want to share from your experience over the past month, or if you have a question like Lady Hirimata has.
But yeah, I mean, of
join us.
course,
We haven't seen your face in a while, Hirimata.
yes, it's been quite a moment. But yeah, for sure, I can take a look at that.
Yes, so the question, we'll put it up on the screen here. Can you see in the cards that the Honumotu will be one again with Canada and Mexico joining the US? So this is a continuation of my...
yeah, I'm just going to put up a beautiful pillowcase, but it was just something that I could fetch from over there. So it's a little bit more easy for everyone to see.
She is not presentable.
No, next time I'm going to just have a... Oh, that's okay. Whoa, okay. This is interesting.
All right. Your camera is a little lagged right now, so we'll see if it catches up. It's been this camera with the cards has been a little janky today, but I think it's a little blurry, but we could see, is that an egg or is that the flower of life?
This is the
snake.
This is the net of Maui.
Oh, snake. I think that answers our question.
Sorry?
I think that answered the question that Hirimata had, because, I don't know. Go
ahead. And then we have the cosmic egg showing up, which is also like very, very powerful, very powerful card. And the snake again, the lamb, mini gazelle, and the owl. It feels like that, well, in the memory, we already know that it is one. I mean, we know that everything is one. Like, you know, we don't even have to separate the mutris from one another, because we know that they, you know, that they share. It's like, what am I looking at? Yeah, they share. And it is almost like this feeling of, yes, we already know this. We already know this to be true. And I feel that with this whole, I mean, we have the card, the one showing up. So it's kind of like saying, yeah, it's going to become one. But I feel that there is a process that is going to be with this. And it's not going to be a fully easy process. It's almost like that the lamb is representing Canada, just being like, yeah, I want to come over there, you know. And then, you know, there are warriors that want to protect this lamb. They want to protect Canada. They want to protect Canada in terms of, yeah, but it needs to have its own identity and whatever, you know. It's like, so there's going to be a whole process that is going to happen with this. But in the end, it almost feels like that people will recognize quite in a elegant way, in a smooth way. You know, if we look at the gazelle and how the gazelle moves, this is an aspect of father light, of the okapi. So, but it shares a very soft and gentle, again, an energy that's very much connected with this. It's almost a combination of the okapi and the lamb for me, sharing a very innocent and pure energy. And I feel that people will come to this recognition that there's life force, nectar, deliciousness within that process of unification and coming together. And interesting. This is also coming up. It could also be that we are seeing that there's going to be a dead end to this.
As so this you pulled that card, the sun started showing more intensely here in the room. I want to put that out there.
Yeah. So, I mean, this could either mean that the whole process of it is the whole purpose. It's not even about that they actually become one thing. It's not really about that they become one America. It's about the raising of the whole question of, what people are we? This whole conversation brings up the question of where do we come from and what are we truly? Am I truly a German? Am I truly, are you truly an American? And so on and so forth, which of course is not true. It's like, that's all made up. So maybe this is why the dead end comes up, because it's in the end, it's unnecessary. It's not really necessary to argue about borders. It's an artificial thing. It's an artificial problem that we've created that's no longer necessary, truly, in terms of how things are changing and shifting. So maybe that's what it's all about. I mean, in our understanding and our knowing, we know it's all one anyway. So that's still present. But yeah, it's interesting. We will observe it. But I do have to say that I resonate with this. I feel that it's not going to be like, oh yeah, easy peasy, and America is just going to get bigger,
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna happen just like that. Yeah, but it will be interesting to see what this discussion is going to bring, because it feels like that the true purpose of it is this, like the nectar, the cosmic egg, that's like all very, very deep life force essences, archetypes, let's say. For me, when I can share this, we all are familiar with Lemuria, especially when we are, in the Dragon Masters, we know Lemuria, we know Kimuria, and we know Mu. And I was sitting with this because I was like, okay, this all kind of means the same thing, but still they're sharing different aspects of the same. So I was looking at that code of Mu, and for me, it really felt like the whole essence, the sweetness of life that is within that, golden age of Lemuria, that is within that sacred embrace. So the nectar, it's about that. It's about coming back to this sacred food, this sacred nutrition, the sacred abundance of that. That's what I feel. So it's connected to that, this whole discussion. So that's a good thing. Yeah. Thank you for the question, Hirimata.
It's all tracking. It's all tracking.
It is all tracking, for sure.
As we start coming into the close of our show, is there anybody that wants to come on screen? I'm going to assume no, because nobody's joined yet. Nobody wants to play with us.
Well, they're playing anyway. And I mean, it's also always a lot that the conversation already has.
Mm-hmm.
So I can also understand that it, maybe be a bit much. And for me, usually when I look at readings or things like that, I usually take away from the sharing already an aspect for myself. So that's all right. But I do want to share, if anybody ever feels like, oh, there's like, I always wanted to ask this question. And if you don't mind that others will be watching you, this is a great opportunity to just get an answer for yourself as well, like to ask direct question and to see what the cards have to say. And yeah, so whenever you feel ready, we welcome you.
Ooh, Huna said something very cool. When man began to walk upright during Lemuria 2. Ooh. So in terms of the history, we're in 5th Lemurian now. So that means there were 4 other Lemurias before this. There was also Atlantis thrown in there. And in terms of the movements going across the planet, the migrations, Lemuria 2, and Huna can correct me if I'm getting the locations wrong. I believe it was North America and Scandinavia, Europe was Lemuria 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the civilization was at that moment. So he's talking about man walking upright during Lemuria 2. And something else that I've done just on my own in the like back office kind of thing is looking at what science says in terms of the geological history of the planet and looking at major moments and seeing, okay, well, what could that be really? Because they say what they say, but civilization has been here for a long time. The consciousness has been here for a long time. So history looks a little different than what we were told as children, or at least those of us that are in the like Western way of things. And I had this conversation with him before about the time of the invertebrates. I don't remember what the scientific word is, but there is that time on the planet where there's invertebrates that started popping up. And I think that's what he's referring to with Lemuria 2, because there was the experiment of coming into this form in Lemuria 1 and getting to the point where we can walk upright with these spines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, very fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Almost feels like that this has been thrown in there. I mean, we know it's a lot about the spine and the realignment of the spine in the coming months. So maybe this was why it had to be shared.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
Yeah, I just saw that Connie asked about more information about the octopus, the feke. I mean, one main aspect of the feke is the central hub being. Like they have one center and they have different tentacles going out from there doing multiple things at once and then always bringing it back into the center. So this type of energy is a very ancient archetype being, like the octopus as well as the spider. They are beings that weave the energies. And I can share that it's all connected to the light grid around the planet. And if we look at these beings, they share the understanding in their own, in the body and how their body is created. They share the recognition of fractal technology, like having a center and then having the fractals go out from there, and you zoom in and you always find a new center. And this is what they are connected to. So, yeah.
It's kind of like Huna Flash in the House of Huna.
Yeah.
You have the central hub and then all of the Huna tentacles.
Yeah. You can, if you look, you can see and recognize that everywhere. You can recognize that in your own energy, in your own being. And you can see that it is a natural law. It's like a law of nature. It's just something that is. Yeah. Everything is centralized and then decentralized at the same time. And this is, in a way, the sharing of the feke. So
as you were speaking to Connie's question, I was seeing the whole crypto thing with the blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
And here you are, that those are two terms that are used in that space. The centralized, which is all like the really big banks, the banks that are tied to bad things. The centralized exchange where they know your personal information and they can see your money and all this. But then there's the decentralized, which is, it's a totally different thing where it's not held within the main banks. So I've very curious to see over the next motu what Feke is doing in that space of finance.
Yeah, and it also feels like, with just sharing that, the octopus being is sharing, being centralized and decentralized at the same time. It's again connected to this te maki, all in balance. So bringing like embodying and remembering that we are all of the paradoxes at once, because that's the law of unity, the law of unity consciousness. That's the law of one. That's Huna, one in the many and many in the one. So we are one, but we are many at the same time, which again is also another paradox. So saying it's centralized and decentralized is just a different phrase for Huna. It's actually saying the same. So yeah, just wanted to bring that up there and to see that, to share that it is all of this is connected to that equalization that is happening.
Huna Feke. We are one with the Feke. Yes.
Yes, we are. Beautiful. I'm very happy with this episode. I'm looking forward to hearing some more comments, and I'm so grateful for everyone who's watching.
Yes.
And yeah.
So we will be back in a month.
Yes.
Check out our offerings. If you have not, I do have our 2 websites listed separately as soon as you go into the description. Those of you who already work with the monthly download of the Geometries, the direct link to get it is also in the description. Or if you're new to it, and you want to play around with it, you can do ceremony and set them on fire if you want to. You can get really creative.
Or sleep with them under your pillow like Huna.
Yes, you took the words out of my brain. Marari shared with me the other day that she sleeps with them under her pillow. So there's, it's like Kotahara. There's many different ways that you can play with these tools in your day-to-day. So that link is there. All of Huna's offerings with the intro courses and the Dragon Masters, all of those things, and all of our other Hunas and all of the beautiful koha that they give with their mahi, or their sacred work. Don't you have something to share? A little thing.
I wanted to share with everyone that I invite everyone to tune in again next Sunday, because we will gonna have another show.
Are you going to tell us what the show is, or is it going to be a surprise?
No, I'm not going to share that just yet. But for everyone who is within our community groups, you will receive information of what this show is about soon. And for everyone else who's curious, you can sign up to our HOH mailing list, where you receive all information about every upcoming show. Or you can just look out for further information on the social medias. But it's going to be, again, on Sunday, same time, same place, different people.
Oh.
Yes, so it will be beautiful. And it's so nice. Now we have, again, a show on each Sunday happening. So this is quite cool.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And then Kahiwaha will be back. She had a wonderful inaugural, God, I can speak sometimes, inaugural show, the Kahiwaha Show, Love in Action. Amazing what she did. So proud of her, proud of us, and proud of the ones who are coming, which I may or may not know who they are. I'm just being cheeky. Yes.
Yes, so seeing hopefully everyone back next Sunday. I'm going to be watching. And yeah, wishing everyone a beautiful time, and see you back here in a month on the next episode of the Blackbird Oracle.
Yes, wawa.
Wawa nui.